Good morning, everybody. We're starting up our next math lesson, which is a big break from area and perimeter. We're doing some fantastic work with area and perimeter. I was more than proud by the amount of perseverance people were using to continue just working through those problems. You know, we talk a lot about what mathematicians do. Mathematicians are persistent. They continue trying to show their work, to try to be as accurate as possible. And that's what I saw with all of you. So it was just really, really fun to see all of that. But so what we're going to be switching up to is this. Let's read our goal at I can estimate. Ready? I can estimate temperature and read thermometers. So a few words here. So estimate, you can do estimate or you can pronounce it estimate, depending on how you're using it in the sentence. But this we're going to be estimating. And an estimate is kind of like a guess, but I always like to call it, this is not a new word for us. We've had to do a lot of estimating, like when we've done rounding and estimating for addition and subtraction problems. And you always hear me say an estimate is more of like a thinking guess. You're not just throwing out some random guess. If it's about temperature, if somebody asked me give me an estimate, what's the temperature outside? And I said, I don't know, it's like 100. It's not a thinking guess. Right now, I would say it's maybe about 50 degrees, and that's because I pay attention to the weather, and the temperatures, and that's been kind of it's been what it's been like lately here, and I've recorded this, so who knows when we watch this lesson, maybe it will be even warmer. Maybe a better estimate would be 60 degrees. Oof, that's some hopeful thinking. The word temperature, I have that just an arrow down here. Temperature is measure of how hot or cold something is. So you can measure the temperature of lots of things. And I guess you can just take a minute here to think. I'll give you like 15 seconds. Think to yourself, what are some things that you might take a temperature for? You can start saying them to the iPad. Maybe magically someday here, I'll be able to hear all of your answers that you're telling me through your iPad. But don't just say them out loud though. For me, taking temperature of myself, or like Carol, she's sick. Making sure that the temperature is the right temperature in the fridge so the food doesn't go bad. Taking the air temperature outside, just like how hot is it, how cold is it. We sometimes have a thermometer in our oven just to see what the temperature is. So you can take temperature lots of times. For lots of different reasons. Sometimes you have to take a temperature of food to make sure food is cooked all the way. And to take all those temperatures, you're going to be using a thermometer. A thermometer is a tool to measure temperature. There are lots of different kinds of thermometers too. That's something you could even ask your families. Do we have a thermometer? Do we have different kinds of thermometers? We have thermometers to take the temperature of a person, but like I was saying, like sometimes there are food thermometers to make sure food is cooked. But let's get into our lesson here. If you haven't done it yet, the first page you're going to get is page 375. You can download that to Notability. Okay, so a lot of this is going to be me kind of just teaching and doing some talking about temperature. So we're going to be so I guess what you can do for this is you can either watch just my whole video here today, or I should say I'm going to split the video into two parts again. But you can watch the whole video, then stop and do your sheet, page 375. I was going to say 365, but I knew that was wrong. So you can do 375 after the video, or you can always just do it with me. So watch the video for a bit, pause it, do a part of your page, then play the video again, watch, and then do more of the page. Whatever is up to you. But at the top of page 375, it says, use the thermometer. Circle the better estimate of the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So before we do problems number 1, 2, and 3, we're going to spend some time looking at this thermometer over here. So, I guess the first thing you should always know about a thermometer. Thermometers are measured in Fahrenheit and Celsius. Here in the United States, we have our standard measurement system, and we use Fahrenheit. Basically, the rest of the world uses Celsius. I don't know why we have to make that super confusing, but we do. So we have Fahrenheit in the United States, and in some other places too, but pretty much the rest of the world uses Celsius. So whenever you are looking at a thermometer, when we're here in the United States, you have to look at the side that's Fahrenheit. And some thermometers are flipped to the other way. Just make sure you know where the F is. That's for Fahrenheit. That's for the United States. Pretty much everywhere else you're going to be using Celsius. So I'm going to look at just the Fahrenheit side first. I'm going to start down here at the 0. So on this thermometer, it starts here at 0. Mine's a little bit blurry, but this does count by ones. So if you're looking at your page, it does go by ones. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So every single tiny little line goes by ones. And so you're going to be going up, you can go by ones all the way up to the 20. And so then, and it's actually the same on the Celsius side too. On Celsius, it's on this side, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see this a little bit more clearly. It's more spaced out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it does the same exact thing. It goes just by ones. If you go below the 0, then it goes into those negatives. So like 0, the first line then, right underneath the 0 would be -1. Then it's -2, then -3, and then it just goes backwards. Just have to put the negative sign in front of it. Now you're going to notice next to it are a bunch of these like bubbles. Like one of the things that they have is cold. 32 degrees, that's when water freezes. So on the Fahrenheit side, so there's 30, 31, 32. At 32 degrees, that's when water freezes. Getting really cold. I am glad we're past these days now. When we get down to -10, that's a very cold day. Like I gave my estimate, I've been feeling some 50-degree days. It's cool, but you're probably going to want to wear a jacket. You know, it's hard when we're coming out of winter, coming into spring, because like, oh man, this feels so warm compared to what we had. It's still better to wear a jacket on a 50-degree day. 70 degrees is considered room temperature, meaning a lot of people in their homes, they keep it at about 70 degrees. That's room temperature. 104, that is a very hot day. Those are our July, August days. We get some of those hot days, 104 degrees. It's hard to imagine that we're going to be getting back up to that again. Then at the very top, 212 is when water boils. So just going to put this in the same shot here. 32 degrees Fahrenheit, water freezes. Just barely fit that in. 212 is when it boils. So if you're trying to make like some pasta or like rice or quinoa or couscous, any of those rices or grains, even like oatmeal or any of that pasta noodle stuff, before you can do it, you always usually have to boil the water first. Well, that means the water got up to 212 degrees, and that's when the water is boiling. So that's when it's starting to turn from a liquid back into a gas. It's starting to evaporate into a gas again. And then 32 degrees. So if it's at 33, you're going to notice it's going to be really, really cold. It's going to be incredibly cold, but as soon as it hits 32 degrees, that's when the ice starts to form. So it's kind of cool. A couple things, other things just to notice too. Does anybody know, just a quick bonus question, what that little symbol means right there? That little circle. See them all over the place. Wait for it. That little symbol means degrees. That's right. And degrees is just a way to kind of basically tell what you're trying to measure in. And we're measuring temperature. And so that's how with temperature you measure in degrees. Just kind of like if you're measuring how long something is, you might measure in inches or centimeters or meters or yards. With temperature, you measure in degrees. And then the F and the C's, this is for Fahrenheit. That's for the United States. That's C. Celsius makes the sound, and then the K, Celsius. That's just for basically everywhere else besides the United States. Okay, now we can go to number 1, 2, and 3 here. Okay, so what makes more sense? Looks like he is shoveling snow. Yeah, this person is definitely shoveling snow. So it's either 20 degrees or 80 degrees. Just take some time to think here. What makes more sense? Yep, I'd say 20 degrees. In class, I'd be asking you why. Why is it 20 degrees? Explain to me. Well, and I would hope that you would say, well, if it's closer to 80 degrees, that's going to be quite warm. And water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, so it's shoveling snow because we have snow now. Okay, now we're going to go over here. Group of people swimming in a pool. 32 degrees or 84 degrees? Which one is it and why? I'm giving you that time just to think about it and tell me. It's 84 degrees. 32 doesn't make sense because that's when water freezes and they're in the water and they're not frozen. Unless if they're robots. Maybe they're robots and they don't feel cold. But probably not. Number 3, is it 0 degrees Fahrenheit or 53 degrees Fahrenheit? Remember, explain why. I would say 53 degrees Fahrenheit. She's just wearing looks like a light sweatshirt. 0 degrees would be really cold. She would definitely need to be bundled up with hats, coats, gloves. Okay, now we are going to write the temperature using degrees Fahrenheit. Then write hot, warm, cool, or cold to describe the temperature. So again, it said they're really specific, Fahrenheit. So that's why what you need to make sure when you look in the thermometer, what side you look at. Fahrenheit, not the Celsius, Fahrenheit. Now I'm going to look my best here. Yours might be looking a little bit better. So at 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. So it's past the 70. It's not to the 80. Looks like 71, 72. 72 degrees, and I would say warm. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So this next one, I'm not going to give it away so fast. I want you to do your own thinking. Let's see here. And you know what? I'm going to throw you a curveball. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to let you finish number 5 and number 6 by yourselves. Write the temperature using degrees Fahrenheit. Then write hot, warm, cool, or cold to describe the temperatures. So you're going to do that for number 5 and number 6. Make sure you're using the Fahrenheit side. Number 7. The thermometer shows the high temperature on Thursday. What was the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit on Thursday? And so when they say the thermometer, they mean this thermometer. So what was the temperature on Thursday? B. On Friday, the high temperature was 25 degrees less than it was on Thursday. Oh, what was the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit on Friday? Oh, interesting. So this was Thursday, but on Friday, the high temperature was 25 degrees less than it was on Thursday. So if this is Thursday, Friday is 25 degrees less than Thursday. What's that temperature? Okay, come back to check your thinking and answers.